Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Deandra Coleman, and I'm with the Virginia SBDC Network. For those of you that are not familiar with our organization, the Virginia SBDC is a partnership program between the U.S. Small Business Administration, George Mason University, and local host institutions throughout Virginia. With 27 locations across the Commonwealth, we provide training and technical assistance to small businesses in their local communities. Our one-on-one consulting services are available at no charge. Today's webinar, Grow Your Business with Digital Marketing, is presented by the Virginia SBDC Network. Be sure to check out our next webinar on WordPress. It is titled Managing Your WordPress Website, and that is taking place next Thursday. We are recording today's presentation, and it will be posted on our website, virginiasbdc.org. Due to the large number of participants, everyone's microphone is muted, but if you have questions during the presentation, you can type those into the Q&A box. If we're unable to get to your question, you can email us after the webinar. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter for today's session. Cameron has over 18 years experience in technology and as a senior tech consultant in Silicon Valley, where he helped Fortune 500 companies improve their digital marketing and e-commerce. He is founder of the Blockchain Leadership Council and has also founded several tech companies, including a SaaS website for tree preservation. Cameron is accomplished in language, culture, has an MBA and MA, and believes new technology products have the ability to help shape our world for the better. Cameron is now working with the Virginia SBDC as Chief Digital Advisor, and we are fortunate enough to have him share his expertise with us. Please join me in welcoming our presenter for today, Cameron Nelson.
Thanks for the introduction, and hello everybody. Welcome to How to Grow Your Business with Digital Marketing. The goals of this presentation are to, at a high level, cover the main digital marketing topics that might be most benefit to small businesses in Virginia. If you have questions, we'll have 15 or 20 minutes at the end of the presentation for questions and answers. If there's something I'm not able to get to, or you prefer to talk to me one-on-one about your own business and its needs, feel free to reach out to me directly. My email address is here, and also everything in this presentation will be emailed to you afterwards. So you will have my email address, and feel free to reach out. I'm happy to talk to all the small business owners if you have questions about your technology or digital marketing. So let's jump into it. Here are the top 5 reasons why you should use digital marketing. Hint, digital marketing creates growth. And that's really what we're focused on throughout this presentation, is how do you grow your business online using digital marketing? So number 1, digital marketing has broad geographical reach, because when you post an ad or a message on social media, that goes out to everybody in the world, assuming, of course, you didn't limit it geographically, which sometimes you can do. This means it's very easy to grow your business's market reach using digital marketing strategies. Number 2, digital marketing is cost effective. It gives you much more flexibility and customer contact for each dollar you spend compared to something traditional like newspaper ads, television, billboards, and things like that. One of the big reasons why most companies, large and small, are turning increasingly towards digital marketing. Number 3, digital marketing gives you quantifiable results. The software platforms you're going to use to run your ads and to do your digital marketing are going to automatically track the number of desired conversions, which could be an email if you want your customers to open your emails, if you want them to visit your page, or if you just want them to purchase your products. All of that information is automatically aggregated and presented to you. And we're going to talk about that more later on. Number 4, it's easier to personalize digital marketing. Well, because if you're putting in a newspaper ad for your product, you have one ad that goes out to everybody, but there might be different segments of your customers with different interests in your product. Digital marketing allows you to gather that customer data in a way that offline marketing just can't. And with that information at your fingertips, you're able to make smarter decisions about the words you use in your ads or in your posts or on your website, the images you use, the videos you use. Everything can be custom tailored directly to your audience. And lastly, digital marketing provides easy conversions. So what that means is that when the customer sees your ad, unlike driving by a billboard where they can't do anything immediately, with an online ad, they can immediately click that link, which is usually the action, and move into your sales funnel. Now, whatever process you want them to go through, could be download some information about your product, could be just buy my product. And many customers will take that action immediately and buy the product if everything lines up and it's fitting a need that they have, and others will wait until later. So these are the top 5 reasons why I think you should be considering digital marketing. So these are the topics we're going to cover today. First, we're going to talk about social media and email marketing. These are great tools to increase your brand awareness and also personalize your outbound marketing message. These are more considered slow burn tactics. They might take several touch points with a customer until a sale is made. Secondly, I'm going to talk about your paid ad strategy and SEO, or search engine optimization. Paid ads allows you to post ads on a number of networks like Google and Facebook, among others. And search engine optimization helps you optimize your website design to increase your rank and search results. This generates what's called organic search traffic, and it can be a great free way to get visitors to your website and to sell your products. Next, I'm going to talk about affiliate marketing. This is when third-party publishers or influencers generate traffic or leads to your products and services. And lastly, the all-important analytics. I'm going to wrap everything up and talk about how you can use analytics to measure your success and improve your performance going forward. So first, social media marketing. The 3 main benefits of social media marketing are to increase your brand awareness, to gain useful metrics and data, and to build trust and dialogue with your target markets. So social media marketing increases your website traffic and brand awareness because it engages people with discussions online. So the most effective way to use social media is not just to have posts about buy my product or we're having a sale, but it's to engage people interested in that type of product in discussions. Because social media marketing involves an active audience participation, it's been a very popular way for small and large businesses to reach their customers, to find out what they're looking for, and ultimately to sell their products. And I'll reiterate this a few times in the presentation. The main strategy for marketing is not just to talk about your products over and over, but it's actually to provide useful information and have dialogue. Once customers feel like you're a trusted source of information and they trust you, then they make the choice to buy your products usually. So secondly, you can gain useful metrics because social media marketing offers many built-in engagement tools to measure the metrics, which are extremely useful in helping you to understand how well you reach your audience, where you're losing people, and what you can do better. And lastly, many brands use social marketing to build trust and start dialogues with audience, rather than forcing them or encouraging them to buy a product right away. And again, because if you provide useful and helpful content, the sales will generally follow. Some of the most popular platforms for social media marketing: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you can create free accounts. You can make posts free right now. YouTube is another great channel for marketing. You will create a video ad and run that ad. And I'll talk about more about the paid ads in a moment. Next is email marketing. Email marketing is one of the easiest ways to get into marketing because it just means you gather a list of email addresses of people who you think will be your potential buyers of your product, and you send them emails. But it's not always that simple. So here's some do's and some don'ts when you think about your email marketing. You do want to individualize the content and the body and the subject of that email. So rather than saying a generic hi or hello, you want to say, hi, Dave, hi, Susan. You can actually automatically populate things like their first name when you have certain data. You always want to do that. You want to individualize that email. Same as in the subject of the email. If you have data talking about Dave likes certain types of products you're selling, or he's looked at certain product pages on your website, your email can automatically have those links to those products that he's been looking at versus somebody else. This is individualizing, and it's a very powerful way that you can increase the conversions on your email marketing. You should state clearly what kind of emails a subscriber will get. So typically you'll build an email marketing list by having an option on your website that says sign up here. You always should specify what they're going to be getting. Are they going to be getting deals or new product release information, coupon codes, or tips and tricks, whatever your industry is. So make sure they know what they're going to sign up for. You always need to offer a clear unsubscribe option. If your email is lacking this, then eventually you'll get banned from the major email providers like Gmail and Hotmail. And in fact, this is just automatically built into things like Constant Contact and MailChimp. So make sure that you always have an unsubscribe option. You should integrate both transactional and promotional emails. So transactional will be, click here to buy this. And promotional emails would be, we have a discount or a 4th of July sale. So you can go back and forth. In each email you should have, obviously, your call to action. And at the end of the day, that should be making money for your business. So you can vary how you present those in transactional and promotional emails. And lastly, you want your prospects to see your email campaign as a valued service and not only a promotional tool. So it's always good to, if you're want to promote awareness of a topic or there's a current news situation developing around the industry you serve, your emails should talk about that and provide a service. And maybe you're a health and fitness instructor, or maybe you have your own techniques. This is a useful service that you can be providing and adds value. So these are the kind of things people look for in emails. What you don't want to do is have an overhyped subject line. So forget about having exclamation points and capital letters in your subject. You don't want the email address that it's sent from to have no reply. So it should be something more friendly like contact or info at your domain name, preferably. It shouldn't be a no reply email address. By having an email address that people can reply to, you're going to encourage that conversation and that dialogue, which is so important in growing your business online. You don't want to send out emails that offer no value. Again, you should be talking about something of value. You don't want to have too many call to actions. In fact, usually just one is the best. So if your call to action is come by our hair salon and visit us today, that's great. You can have your address and the phone number. That can be a call to action. If the call to action is refer 5 friends to get a discount on your next purchase, that could be a call to action. Could just be buy one of our products. But you should have one. Typically, one is all you want in an email. Next, make sure your email is not too long. So anything that would be over 1 or 2 standard pages worth of looking through is going to be too long. Try to keep it to about 1 page and mix it up with images and words. So also, you don't want to send out emails to an email list that is not segmented. And that will avoid sending out irrelevant emails. So for example, let's just say you sell pet products for dogs, cats, and fish. Now, some of your customers might be interested in the cat products, some in the dog products, some in the fish products. You will know based on your analytics which customers have which pets. You don't want to send the dog owner emails about cat supplies. And so what you can do is you build out 3 different groups of your customers, and you'll send a slightly modified version of your email to each group so they get relevant emails only. Not optimizing for mobile is a big mistake. Over 50% of emails are opened on a mobile device. So if you're using Constant Contact or MailChimp, they're going to really help you do this for the majority of the time. If you're sending out emails more manually on your own, you should always send a test to yourself first or a trusted friend or colleague. Make sure they open it on their mobile device, make sure everything looks good. Sending emails at the wrong time of the day or sending too many emails. So the best time of day typically is in the mid-morning to mid-afternoon. Emails bright and early in the morning are often just lost with other work. Too late in the day, people have moved off their computers. And sending too many emails is also a problem. It all depends on what service you're providing and what your frequency should be. But in general, more than once a week will be a big problem. Most companies will send an email out either once a month or maybe once every 2 months. And the last warning here is ignoring your analytics, because you constantly need to be looking at your data and evolving your tactics because your competitors are. So if you are not taking advantage of that resource, you will be missing out on sales opportunities, and that will ultimately detrimentally affect your business online. And lastly, tip will be incorporate things like marketing automation, which again lets you segment and schedule your emails ahead of time so they meet your customers' needs more effectively. So there's a lot of automation you can do to speed up this process. Next is paid ads. The pay-per-click ad, or sometimes called PPC, is when you post an ad on one of these ad networks and you pay only every time somebody clicks on it. So in any industry or any product for sale, there's many people selling that online. And so the algorithm, like Google search algorithm, has to prioritize an ad based on several factors. So this is the same on Google, it's the same on Facebook and Instagram. These factors are the ad quality. So they're going to be looking for things like proper English, proper grammar. If you're using too many abbreviations or jargon or slang, it's going to give you a lower quality of that ad. It's going to look at the keyword relevance. So it's going to try to match up the search term with words in your ad. So it's very important that you understand what your customers are probably typing in to search for, to make sure many of those words are represented in your ad. Facebook, Google, and the others are also going to look at the link that you're trying to send people to. That's called the landing page. And they're going to look at the quality of that page. Quality can be everything from, are the images loading fast enough, or are they too big in size so they're loading slowly? Is the page have the right optimizations to display on mobile? If you come up lacking in some of these categories, it'll give you a lower landing page quality and it's less likely to display your ad. And finally, the bid amount. So when you set up your ad, you will be giving a maximum amount that you'll be willing to pay Google or Facebook when somebody clicks on that. Typically, it ranges from 25 cents to maybe $2 per click. And so if there are competitors who have a higher maximum bid amount set, then there's a chance that their ad will show up instead of yours. So these are the factors that influence whether your paid ads will show up. And this strategy is the same on any of the large ad networks, which are Google, Microsoft, YouTube, which is owned by Google, Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Pinterest. So many of these platforms are used by people selling their products online. And you don't just need to pick one, and you certainly shouldn't pick all probably, but the best strategy is usually to have ads running on one or two of these ad platforms if you have the budget. The next important factor with your online marketing is your search engine optimization. This is what gives you the organic website search traffic. So as opposed to having to pay when somebody clicks on your paid ad, as seen in that last slide, and this way will give you totally free traffic because it's considered organic. So what do you need to do to increase your search engine optimization? So there's several factors that play into you being able to achieve the highest rank possible. And this obviously increases your position on the search page. The most important elements to consider when optimizing your website are going to be the quality of your content. So Google and Microsoft were the main search engines. They're very good at looking through website text to find out what product they're trying to sell, what service they're trying to provide, and matching that up with what people are looking for because they want to provide accurate search results. So the best thing to do is have good grammar, good content, use plain English words and paragraphs, talk about the service you're providing multiple times. If you're providing an area in a service in a certain area, like Richmond or Charlottesville, make sure you have the city name or the county name on your website several times. Because you've got to think, if you're a visitor coming through Virginia, you want to get a coffee shop, you're in Richmond, you're going to search for good coffee Richmond. So your website should have the city or the service area. And those factors all play into the quality of your content. The next thing that Google and the search engines will look for is the level of user engagement. So this is interesting and it gets into the analytics a bit. But if people who go to your website typically leave within 5 seconds or less, that is a poor level of engagement. It tells Google that your website isn't very good or the content's not very relevant. So the best thing to do is to have users that will stay on your website longer, and I'll talk about some strategies for that next. Third, is it mobile friendly? Just like before, websites are displayed on mobile devices at least 50% of the time. over desktop and laptop. So you need to make sure that your mobile device works on Android phones and iOS phones. And fourth, number and the quality of the inbound links. So what this means is that if you have, say you have a coffee shop and you have a couple of friends who have a blog that talk about coffee topics. Let's just say in their blog, they link to your coffee shop website. That's an inbound link. It's a way for people to find your website through other websites. So the number of those is very important. The quality of those inbound links means, well, your friend's blog, does it get 10 website visitors a month or 10,000? So if the blog is getting 10,000 visitors a month and it's sending an inbound link to your website, that increases your SEO because it's a popular website sending an inbound link to you. So these are the basics of SEO. Companies can spend more time and money tweaking these, but this is, again, just an overview that's a useful starter. Next, the good way to market online is affiliate marketing. And in this strategy, your company will compensate an affiliate partner for any business and revenue created through their marketing for you. Your company can access motivated and creative people like influencers. So this is very popular. Let's just think of companies selling cosmetics online. Oftentimes, they will find a YouTube or Instagram or Facebook influencer in cosmetics, and that person will test and market their products. So they can be celebrities, online influencers, or any trusted voice in your industry. So some of the pros for affiliate marketing, it gives you quick access to a broad market because all of a sudden, instead of the followers you might have online, you're able to tap into the much bigger network of that influencer's followers. It provides you more qualified leads because the influencer is in the same industry you are. So you already know their followers, going back to the cosmetics example, are interested in cosmetics. You're not finding people who are auto mechanics or farmers who are not interested in that. So it gives you those qualified leads, which are super important. And it can be one of the lowest cost and most cost-effective forms of advertising, because the cost of this only depends on the agreement or contract that you have with that influencer. The cons are it can be subject to fraud. So, since there are really no strict guidelines for affiliate marketing, sometimes fraud can happen. You certainly have less creative control over how that affiliate will market your product. For example, you could send them samples and have an agreement that they'll only say good things about your products, and they might say bad things about your products. You don't have the control of what they're going to say. So you open yourself up to a bit of risk. Also, you leave yourself slightly vulnerable to things like theft. If you send a bunch of products and samples to somebody who maybe you've never met, they might just disappear with them and never, give you what you had agreed upon. So a good case study for affiliate marketing is Amazon, which their affiliate marketing program is called Amazon Associates, and it's one of the world's largest, if not the world's largest, affiliate marketing program. Amazon has creators and publishers and bloggers sign up, and you've probably all seen this, where they'll talk about an Amazon product, or they'll say it's on sale and they give you a link to click on to buy it on Amazon. Well, whenever you do that, they receive compensation for all the sales that their sites generate for Amazon. So quickly, there's 3 types of affiliate marketing that are worthwhile to discuss, just so you're familiar with this. Unattached affiliate marketing is when you have no connection between the affiliate and the product and the service. They don't even have related skills or experience. This is very uninvolved form of affiliate marketing. And because they lack any real attachment to the products they're selling, they don't really have any duty to recommend or advise. So this is a very could be a review of a product, but the person does not have any stake in trying to sell it. The second type or level is related affiliates. And this is when the connection between the affiliate's industry or niche and the product and service, it's there. And the affiliate has enough influence in this area to offer their expertise on the product and to generate traffic for your website, increase your sales. So they're a trusted source of information. But in this type, the affiliate will make no claims about the use of the product. So they're not really reviewing it. They're merely mentioning that it's there. The most common these days is called an involved affiliate, where they actually use the product, usually in a video, and they are confident about their ability to review it because their followers are, trust their opinions. So their experience is put into the advertisement and the review. Because they're providing these recommendations, their reputation can be compromised, any problems arising from your product. However, with that risk, this is currently the most popular and effective of these three forms of affiliate marketing. Lastly, wrapping all of this up, analytics is an important part of this conversation because no matter what form of marketing you use, or all of them, at the end of the day, the analytics is going to be what makes or breaks your strategy and success in the long term. So these are the 6 most important parts of analytics to look at and to understand. They're not all of the analytics you can gather, but this is a good starting point. So the first one is traffic sources. This type of data will tell you if the visitors are coming directly, which means they bookmarked your website and they're clicking on the bookmark, or they're typing in your website address and going directly to your website. The second type of traffic would be organic search. So again, if you are showing up in a Google or Bing search result and somebody clicks on it, that will be an organic search result traffic. And the third form of traffic would be a referral. This could be from your friend's blog, that would be a referral. An affiliate marketing link that sends traffic to your website would be a referral. And you'll not only see that it was a referral traffic, you'll see where it came from. So it'll help you tweak and fine tune your strategy as far as those inbound links, either with affiliates or with people writing blogs. You can see which of those sources is sending you the most visitors and ultimately providing the most revenue. The second important part of marketing metrics to measure are the page views. This metric measures the number of times the user will load your web pages and which pages attract the most attention. So if a page has a high number of views, but a low amount of revenue generated from the page, there might be a problem. For example, let's just say you have 10 products on your website. Each has its own page, of course. Let's say that some of the products are getting lots of visitors, but having very few conversions or sales. If you notice that, it could mean that there's a problem with the site. You might have a broken link. You might have a video that's not working right. You might have a broken image. Something is turning customers off to completing the purchase. So that would be a red flag to look at. The next part of analytics to pay attention to is the average session duration. Typically, the better users experience on your website, the more they're engaged with your content, the longer they'll stay on your site. This is really key because if they're finding it valuable, they'll spend more time there and be more likely to recommend it to other people. Also, the more likely they'll be to return. Oftentimes, a customer will not buy your product the first time they go to your website. People want to do a little bit of research. They might go to your social media pages, see how you're active, what you're saying, what your feedback is like. They might come back. So you want your website to have a long session duration, which indicates that they're more engaged. The ways to do this would be post more useful information, text, images, videos. These are all ways, especially the videos, are good ways to increase your session duration. Also, when it comes to SEO, longer session duration, remember, ranks you higher. And also with the paid ads, it ranks you higher. So Google looks at that. Next is the bounce rate. So this is a bad metric. This measures the people who leave your site after viewing only one page or stay on for less than 5 seconds. It just indicates that people with websites with a high bounce rate are not effective. They're not engaging. Google and other search engines will rank them much lower. If you have a high bounce rate, it's not the end of the world. It can be a good indicator that the effectiveness of your content and your strategies for selling and your campaigns is not working, and it's time to change. The exit rate shows the percentage of exits from every page on your website. An exit is simply when somebody either closes that tab, closes the browser, or navigates to a different web page. So hopefully what you want to see is your exit page is the checkout confirmation page, because this indicates that they have bought something. So that you want everybody to exit there. But Of course, that's usually not possible. So if your exit page happens to be your home page, that could indicate there's a problems. You're having a trouble connecting with your target market. Maybe you're not describing your product in the right way, or maybe they're not seeing value on the home page, so they're not going further. The sixth and final main analytic to look at is the conversion rate. Conversion rate is talked about a lot, and it's the percentage of the website visitors who act on your conversion goals, such as making a purchase or subscribing to your newsletter or watching a certain video. Any goal can be a conversion goal, and it's up to you to decide for your business what makes the most sense. Typically, all the businesses at the end of the day need to make money, so buying the product is a logical conversion goal, but it's sometimes not the only one. Especially if you're a new company starting out, your conversion goal could actually be to subscribe to the newsletter, because in 6 months you hope to have 1,000 or 5,000 subscribers to the newsletter and then really start pushing the sales. So depends on your strategy, and you can always talk to somebody like me or another marketing consultant to help you figure out what a good strategy would be and what that conversion rate should be for your success. So here, I'd like to wrap everything up. I think I threw a lot of information out there. Some of it might be very new to most people. At the end of the day, it's important to remember that digital marketing is a very effective way to increase your business online, because it offers great insights into things like what your customers like and what their preferences are. What are your customers' buying habits? What on your website is working or not working? And how can you better target your customers when your email campaigns? And here's a couple tips I'd like to leave you with. Number one is just stay active. Because online marketing, like all technology, is always evolving, it's very important for you to continue to learn about these new changes and trends. You can do this by attending presentations, talking to other business owners that you know about how they're marketing and how that's working, reading news websites, and reading thought leaders in your industry. And tip number two, sometimes it's very hard to know where to start. There is no right answer. There is no silver bullet with online marketing. So I recommend start with your gut instinct and grow your digital marketing strategy from there. Nobody knows your business as well as you do, and nobody knows your target market as well as you do. So what you need to do is just take that knowledge and make a start with what you think will work the best. Keep in mind that many forms of digital marketing are totally free, and all they take is your time to get them started. You can be surprised about how successful your initial efforts might be. But you should always continue to learn from your data, look at your analytics, adapt your strategies over time, never stay stagnant, and modify your strategy by thinking of new and creative ways to market. So I thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer questions. We have about 15 or 20 minutes. And if there's any questions that I'm not able to answer in that time, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to talk to you about your specific business.
All right, thanks, Cameron. We have a couple questions here. Would you adapt your email sending times if you had a larger senior customer base? I know we had talked about that a little bit in the beginning.
Yes, we talked a little bit about what the best time is to send emails out to customers. If you have a senior customer base, let's just assume they're retired at home, because I guess that's what seniors, that's kind of what it means, right? At that point, I think that the strategy could be a bit different. Most seniors that I know at home are looking at emails more throughout the day, even in the evenings. So that's a good question. I haven't directly researched senior marketing email times, but that's my initial hunch. I would think that you could do a little bit more research and probably find some more specific and targeted data to back that up.
Let's see, where would my ad, I'm not sure exactly what this is referring to, but where would my ad actually be seen, and how or where would it appear when someone searches a keyword?
Well, I think there's two different questions. So where the ad will be seen, I'll go back to that slide. There are several different ad networks. So Google, Microsoft, YouTube, Facebook, etc. You will pick one of these, you'll pay them, and then you'll create your ad on their network. So if you pick Google, it'll show up on Google, etc. The second part of the question wasn't very clear to me. So
yeah, Bernice, if you want to type back in, I actually have another question from Bernice here, similar. What are your thoughts on including in search words that address the problems that the company will solve in addition to services? So for a consulting service firm, ineffective processes or waste, fraud, and abuse.
right, and I think you're still talking about your ad strategy. Yes, definitely. When it comes to crafting the text of the ad, you should be identifying the problem that you're solving. You should be identifying what your unique strategy is to solve the problem, and preferably why you're better than the competitors. So if you can fit all of that into an ad, great. Google only gives you like 200 characters for an ad. It's very, very short. So you won't be able to say all of that. Something like Facebook gives you really tons of space, like paragraphs and paragraphs. So you can go into a lot more detail. But those are the three main topics that your ad should consider.
Can you discuss the pros and cons on paid Facebook services, for example, boost message?
Yeah, so Facebook has two different ways to make money from you with ads. You can boost a post or you can pay for an ad. They're different. So boosting a post means you write a normal post, you pay Facebook money and they'll boost it. And so it'll put it in a higher priority in the feeds of people who they think will like to see the post, even if they don't follow your Facebook page. So it has that opportunity. Facebook ads are a little bit different. They show up in a different part of the Facebook feed for users. And typically an ad, it's a bit harder because you have to write it from scratch. You're not just taking a post you've written and boosting it, but you have to think about the ad headline, the body of the ad, and any images or videos. But from what I've seen and when I've talked to other marketers, the Facebook ad is typically a better return on your investment than a boosted post. That might seem not intuitive because why would one work better than the other? But for most businesses, I always recommend that the ad is the best way to go right now, because it seems to just provide more clicks on the link and more revenue on your website than the boosted post does.
What is the best way to set an ad budget if you're considering acquiring ads for the first time?
That's great. So both Facebook and Google, which are the two largest ad networks and two good ones to start with, they recommend a minimum of about $5 a day. So this is a place to start. You can, for $5 a day, they will estimate how many people will see your ad and even how many will click on your ad. And it's typically 50 or 100 people a day for $5 will see it. So it's pretty good. It's definitely a way to get your ad seen. Obviously, increasing that budget is better. So a good entry point that I like businesses to look at is about $300 a month, which would be $10 a day. So if you divide that between Facebook and Google, you'd be giving them each $5 a day. Or if you just wanted to focus on Facebook, that would have a budget of $10 a day. But I think $300 a month is a good minimum. Keep in mind that you can set that budget and then pause your ad after a week or 2 weeks and just stop spending money immediately and take time to absorb what you've learned. You don't need to commit to a long-term deal.
Are there any tips that you have for a government contracting company marketing through social media? Any ways to engage people?
Well, government contracting is not specifically my area of expertise, actually. I mostly help the B2C businesses and sometimes B2B. So it's an area I'm not super familiar with. I think that there's probably some good blog posts and articles about online marketing and social media marketing for government contractors. But and I'd recommend you would look for some of those, but it's not information that I have.
And if you want to email us, help@Virginia SBDC, we can hook you up with a counselor. And we do have people that work with government contracts quite often. So how do you advise small business owners regarding where to start with their digital marketing and what to DIY versus outsource?
Well, like I said, it can be tricky. There's a lot of angles to consider. I would start with what you know of your customer, where they're looking for information is always a good thing. So if you know your customers are primarily on Facebook, Maybe they're on Twitter, or maybe they just would do a Google search to find a service like yours or a product like yours. Find out where they're getting their information from. And hopefully you already know, and if not, interview 10 or 20 customers and say, where do you go to find information like this? Then you can, if you don't have a Facebook page and your customers are on Facebook, that indicates you should create that free Facebook for Business page, put some posts there, work on that, and then probably create a Facebook ad as well. Yeah, so hopefully that answered the whole question.
How important or effective is Google PPC versus social media?
So yeah, the PPC is the paid ad strategy, the pay-per-click. When it comes to social media, you can have pay-per-click on social media as well, just to be clear. Like Facebook ads is a PPC because you pay per click. But I think what you mean is how effective are the free social media posts versus Google PPC. So I'll answer that, but if I'm wrong, correct me. The free posts on social media are great. It's a slow burn. It's a slow strategy, meaning it will take 6 months or 12 months until you start accumulating enough followers on those platforms with free posts before you feel like you can get your product out there and get some revenue. So it's not a strategy a lot of businesses want to only employ that strategy because it's a long road, and you have to be spending a lot of time on writing those posts if anybody's going to care about them. Whereas taking out an ad, a PPC ad on Google or Facebook, gives you instant access to having hundreds or thousands of people look at your product or service. So it's usually good to do them somewhat in tandem, right? If you don't have any presence on a social media platform like Facebook, you probably should, because it's just a great funnel to acquire new customers, even if you're just doing paid ads, free posts there. But you should also supplement that, I think, with paid ads if you have the budget for it. And the paid ads can also boost the number of followers to your Facebook page if your content is good and relevant. And then when you post new things on your Facebook for free, all the followers will see it for free. So my recommendation would be, use the online paid ads to boost your marketing efforts for the first 3 months or 6 months to get you off the ground faster.
If we want to see analytics for website traffic or email engagement, are the analytics made available by a software or provider?
Sure. So it's a great question. I talked a lot about analytics, and how you access those analytics varies a little bit. If you have a Facebook for Business page, there is a section of that page, if you're an administrator, called Analytics. And then there you will see all the analytics I was just talking about. I'll go back to them. You will see all of these 6, including more. If you're not looking for Facebook analytics, if you have a website, which is like yourbusiness.com, you'll need to install Google Analytics, which is the best and the most common. It's free. It's not something that you can do unless you set up your website. So if you are familiar with setting up a website, you can do this. If you had somebody else set up your website, you'll probably need to go back to them for an hour or 2 of work to install the Google Analytics tracking code. But once that's done, you just go to analytics.google.com, and it'll show you all of these analytic statistics as well as many others, again, totally for free. So that's the difference. Facebook, you log into the business account as an administrator, and it's just going to be there called Analytics. With your website, you need Google Analytics, and that needs to be installed with some tracking code.
What are your thoughts on Yelp as an ad network? Yelp appears to be targeting our company for participation, but we're seeing mixed feedback on their client interactions being aggressive and how Yelp controls customer reviews.
Yeah, Yelp is a robust platform for displaying reviews of businesses online. I think in a lot of ways it's being taken over by Google Maps, because the many businesses now are getting more traffic and more accurate traffic, so better conversions through Google Maps. And the reviews on Google Maps also compete directly with Yelp. So if you are a business that gives service in a certain area, like a coffee shop or a restaurant, then I would definitely create a listing on Google Maps. You can do this by going to business.google.com, and it's free. You will set up the details of your business there. So I think Yelp is on the way out. Certainly Google Maps is taking over that space because it's more powerful and it seems to be becoming more relevant. So I think, if you have a lot of existing reviews on Yelp, I think that's fine, but your strategy going forward should be making sure your Google Maps, again, you can get that to that by business.google.com. Make sure it's set up, you have pictures of your business, you have good description, your contact information, that's all set up there. Because in a couple of years, that'll be much more important than anything that's on Yelp, I think.
Regarding SEO keywords, does each word have to be single named? Example, massage or massage therapy. Would the keyword massage be grabbed from massage therapy, or should I name them separately as keywords?
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, if you kind of have, two words that are put into one in your industry, and it can be either separated with a space or combined into one. Yeah, you obviously every industry is different when it comes to that. Google is so good that they will certainly search through a combined word to find individual parts. So if massage therapy is all one word, and the search term is just massage or maybe massage space therapy, Google's smart enough to match that up. So I wouldn't worry. I think that the more important thing is abbreviations, which can get tricky because Google doesn't know abbreviations, because one abbreviation could have different meanings depending on the context. So if you have abbreviations, it's very important to spell those out, because somebody might not be searching for the abbreviation but for the full thing. So yeah, I think those are two techniques that would help you with the SEO.
Which one of the PPC marketing platforms you mentioned will not charge until the customer gets to the landing page or makes a purchase, so I don't waste money for impressions?
Sure. That's a great question. So as I talked about, Google and Facebook are the two largest PPC networks. They act a little bit differently. So to answer your question, Google only charges you when somebody clicks on the link and goes to your landing page. That's the only time you get charged. Facebook is a bit different. Facebook mixes it up by saying, look, we're going to charge you for the impressions, which is the number of people who glanced at your ad but didn't click on it, as well as those who clicked on it. They charge you less for an impression and more for a click. So for example, I've seen recently Facebook charging about 15 cents per click on an ad. But if 100 people see it and don't click on it, they're also going to charge you some amount. It's not as much. They might charge you, 15 cents per 100 impressions and 15 cents per one click. So they do a combination, and they have an algorithm and they change it all the time. So yeah, Facebook charges you even if you don't get any clicks, but it's like 100 times more impressions add up to the charge of one click. Google only charges you for the clicks.
What is a good formula and timeline for determining ROI after signing up with an ad network?
You can get some insights within a week. So what I recommend is that you come up with a great ad. Maybe you have a video. Video ads are always more effective. You maybe have a little promo video or explainer video or demonstration video. Have that in your ad, have a budget of $5 or $10 a day. After a week, you will have spent, I don't know, $50, $100, $200, whatever your budget is. You can just pause the ad then and see exactly how many people saw it, clicked on it. And also, if you have your website set up correctly with your conversion goals, you can see how much revenue you made from that ad, which is great, because at the end of the day, that's what you want to know. You want to say, I spent $200 on the Google ad. Out of that, I had $2,000 of revenue made. And that's the key thing that you want to track. It's easy to do with Google, because Google Analytics will tell you that. You do need to set it up in your website, and that is kind of a specialty skill to install the code in the right places to track, because what you're tracking is when somebody clicks like the complete order button, that counts as a completed conversion. And you can tie that all the way up to the ad campaign. You can do the same thing with Facebook as well. There's Facebook Pixel. So some of you might have heard of Pixel. This is Facebook's tracking code for your website. And by using Facebook Pixel, you can also measure the conversion rate from a Facebook ad. So I know it's a bit complicated, but just keep in mind, if you have ads on Facebook and you want to track sales on your website, you need Facebook Pixel. And if you have a Google ad, you use Google Analytics and it'll do the same thing.
What is a good way to find and approach possible affiliate marketing partners?
That's a great question. It really depends on your industry. If you've been selling in a certain market or certain industry for a while, I'm sure you're aware of the influencers. They could be in academia, they could be fashion models on Instagram. It varies a lot. So you'll know who people listen to, and your goal is going to be to talk to them, have a conversation, and say what you're looking for and how you're gonna compensate them. So that's it. It varies so much, but you can often find people on LinkedIn and reach out to them with a LinkedIn message, which is a great way to communicate. Just come up with a good pitch. It's like your elevator pitch. You might have 10 seconds or 20 seconds to get this person's attention to follow up with you. And so you need to be really clear and concise about what you expect from them, what they're going to get out of it. If you craft that message in the right way, not everybody you reach out to will be interested, but you should get some people interested, and then you can make that agreement. Whatever it is, probably like a video review of your product once a week in exchange for something. So that's just details you work out with them.
Do you recommend using hashtags on each platform?
Yeah, so hashtags are a great way for people to find your product. They became very popular, I think, with Twitter. And the idea is, if you're selling a product, let's just say you're selling a fire extinguisher, you could talk about your fire extinguisher, and at the end of that little post, put hashtag fire prevention or something. Well, with fires on the West Coast, that's a hot topic, and people are searching for fires or fire prevention. If you hashtag that phrase, you have the possibility of showing up when somebody would search for things on that topic. So yeah, it can be a great way to get your product and your post in front of more people. It's free to make hashtags. It's no charge for that. It's all part of your free marketing strategy. And there's also no real downsides. The only downside would be if you overuse it. So, you never want to see a sentence followed by 3 sentences of hashtags. Something like that looks odd, and people would just raise an eyebrow. It's probably fine to have between 2 and 5 hashtags on a post on Twitter. Similar approach with Facebook can be used.
How would you protect your business with pay-per-click ads, such as from a scammer?
Well, I'm not quite sure I understand. I'm not familiar with scams involving pay-per-click ads. So,
okay.
If you have more details, yeah, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We've received several influencer emails. This is on the topic. How do we best confirm and guard against fraud?
Yeah.
Talking about affiliate.
Yeah. It's a great question. My advice would be, if you know them personally, or someone who knows them personally, having a personal connection could drastically decrease your chances of that being a fraud, of being taken advantage of. Failing that, if you have no idea of this person's reliability, just start with a small sample, start with a small test, program, so to speak. You might be offering them free product in exchange for their review. So don't offer them 100 units, offer them 2, right? And make sure that they're fulfilling their end of the bargain until you scale up. So I think it's a matter of starting small with people you don't know and just working up until that confidence level is established, both on your end and on their end. Because if you promise them payment which you never send, again, that could be risky for them. Or if, like I mentioned, if they're promoting your product and people buy your product based on their promotion and you ship defective products, that seriously harms their reputation. So it's a sensitive thing, and you need to just have a good personality and a good sense of working cooperatively with the influencers, I think, to make this work.
What's the return on addressing technical SEO issues such as page load time, sitemap analysis, robots exclusion protocol versus optimizing for better SEO keywords?
So the very first part of that is, what is the return?
Yes.
So I assume you mean like the return on your investment for.
Right, that's what I'm assuming, yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's a great question. if you built a website yourself from scratch, it could be that your SEO is way off and it's really decreasing your organic search results. That could be very detrimental. If, however, you built your website on something like WordPress, the platform, as I talk about in my WordPress bootcamp, WordPress offers you quite a bit of SEO just out of the box. You don't need to worry about it. So it depends where you came into this question. So if you have WordPress, your SEO is already doing pretty good. You don't need to invest a lot of time and money typically. But if your website has real issues with its SEO, it's more of a critical thing for your business online. And therefore, it's a much more needed investment, in my opinion. So, if you want me to take a look at, if you have a website, you want me to take a look at that, I can dig deeper and tell you some more details and give a recommendation. And feel free to reach out to me via email for that.
Excuse me. I have been advised to locate my business on Google because it helps traffic. However, I'm selling products online only. What would be your recommendation?
Well, the first, to locate your business on Google, you'll go to business.google.com. And primarily what you'll set up here is your Google Maps presence, which is very important. It's kind of like Yelp, like I mentioned, it's kind of taking over that Yelp review space. It's more important for businesses that have a local focus, coffee shop, restaurant. If you're only selling products online, you can get away with not having a Google Maps listing because you don't really have a physical location, right? So while it wouldn't hurt to set up a Google for Business account and put yourself on Google Maps, you have to ask yourself, well, what would your address be? Because Google Maps, the whole point of it is every business has a location. So if you're running this out of your home, you might not want to list that on Google Maps. So you wouldn't want to go down that road. So.
Right, and then have people show up at your house looking for.
It's always a possibility.
Does Shopify provide the same analytics as Google?
Shopify does provide analytics. From what I've seen, it's nowhere near as comprehensive or as in-depth as Google. So Google Analytics was one of the forerunners of gathering website analytics, and they've kept it up to date with new features. It's probably the most fully featured analytics platform out there. Everything from small businesses to Fortune 500 companies use Google Analytics. So it has, no limitations on how deep it can go. I think Shopify is much more on the surface level. So they won't give you as much different types of information. Maybe that's okay for your business. Maybe you're only interested in 3 or 4 pieces of information. So see if it suits your needs. But if it doesn't encompass, at least the 6 that I think are the most important, then you might want to see if you can install Google Analytics on your Shopify website, which I think is an option, in which case you could use either platform for your analytics.
How does Facebook target the ads to specific audiences?
So Facebook ad targeting, as similar with Google ad targeting, is pretty cool. They will give you options to target your ad to certain audiences based on age, gender, occupation, hobbies, geographic location, and more, right? That's just the basics. So you can get really in depth at targeting your ad to certain demographics. So if you know your demographics, if you know your target's all women or men, that's great. You can just say, Facebook, show my ad to this market. One other thing that I'll mention, because I think it's really important, if you're running Facebook ads, it's kind of an advanced feature that not everybody uses, but it's called a lookalike audience. And what that means is that if you have, say, 100 email addresses of past customers who bought your products, you can upload those email addresses to Facebook and say, Facebook, these 100 people, first off, go see if they have a Facebook page, personal page, and Facebook will look, and then they'll look at everything on their pages, from their posts to their pictures to their hobbies and occupation. And then Facebook will build a lookalike audience. They'll say, these 100 people are the target market for this product. Let's go find 1 million people just like them. And then Facebook will automatically do that, and they'll automatically send your ad to those 1 million people that they just found. So people like your target market that you don't know about yet. So that's a really powerful tool. Facebook does it all anonymously, so yeah, they do it all anonymously, but they have so much data on everybody on Facebook, they're actually able to do that.
All right. Well, We had a couple questions left over. Some of them are pretty specific. So I would suggest, since we are up against the end of the webinar, I would suggest if you guys want to email either Cameron or our main email, I've put those in the chat. The main email is help@virginiasbdc.org. And then Cameron's email, we've just put it on the screen, cnelson@cvsbdc.org. So feel free to email us and ask your questions there. And Cameron is available for one-on-one sessions. It is free, it is confidential, so be sure to take advantage of that. Like we said in the beginning, everyone will receive a link to the recording, to an evaluation, and to the slides, so hang tight for that email to come out to you. And if you'd like to sign up for upcoming webinars or access recorded webinars, you can go to virginiasbdc.org/training. Cameron has another webinar next Thursday, managing your WordPress website. So be sure to sign up for that one. On our website, you can also access the COVID Business Recovery Center, which we developed to help owners not only continue business operations, but to thrive and recover. These resources are designed to be used in collaboration with your local SBDC advisors, and you can sign up for a free confidential session via email or via our website. I also briefly wanted to mention again, we are working with a team of researchers at this time to better understand the needs of entrepreneurs and small business owners in the state. As part of this project, they have asked us if we could, they have asked to talk with our clients and others who have attended our workshops, such as you guys. So we would appreciate if you could schedule an interview with them. All data is completely confidential, and you can sign up at the link put in the chat, which is calendly.com/SBDC-research/SBDC-client. So please check that out. We would greatly appreciate it. Cameron, as always, thank you so much for spending all the time answering questions and for all of your insight and expertise on the matter. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you again next Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.